Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. So we're going to take a look at what Bitcoin is doing here at the moment and how it could develop. And I also want to be quite clear about certain price levels that are really of high relevance in terms of, from which price level onwards we can expect that Bitcoin might drop another 40, maybe 50%. And above which price levels we can get much more confident that Bitcoin has already completed its overall correction. So let me just start maybe with the bearish scenario here. This at the moment is for me the less likely one, my less preferred scenario. However, it absolutely has validity. It is still something that we need to keep an eye on. And again, probability for the bearish scenario at the moment still around 40%. It is not very clear yet in which direction we really go. And again, as I said before, it's best to keep both options open. There will be higher price levels above which lower lows will become much less likely. We are not there yet. And therefore, we need to keep both options open. And I'm going to show you in this video above and below which levels I think each scenario will gain more in relevance again. Yeah, so let's talk quickly about the bearish scenario, how the Elliott Wave count performs. So we obviously still have this sort of bearish flag here that also is quite relevant in terms of looking at what Bitcoin is doing and the trend direction. We have a short-term uptrend here. We have overall here, you could say that is an uptrend. Yeah, you make higher highs and make higher lows. However, this is still something that you could consider a bear flag. Yeah, only very slightly upward sloping channel. This can be how an uptrend is starting. However, it could also just be a consolidation in the bear market, and therefore I'm just telling you signals aren't very clear yet at the moment, and therefore we just need to keep both options open. Yeah, and how to manage that? Well, you need to ask yourself if you are rather a long-term investor who's not bothered about price drops. Then you probably have a dollar cost average strategy where you DCA in at regular time intervals, or you're just a hodler, yeah, or you have more active positions. And if you have more active positions, it shouldn't really matter, because then you use basics like support, resistance, you maybe use the Elliott waves, you use indicators, and then you know that above and below certain levels, certain scenarios get more likely. And this is exactly what we're looking at here. So again, this could be just in this bearish flag, a WXYXZ pattern that is still valid. Yeah, I've mentioned that scenario already 2 to 3 weeks ago, I believe. Yeah, when we talked about this potentially forming either WXY pattern or WXYXZ pattern as an Elliott Wave pattern, where you would now expect the move to the downside. Now, it could very well be the wave Z is actually not finished, because one target for the Z wave, and by the way, this is a corrective wave pattern. The target for the Z wave is 26K, the way it has unfolded. Let me just double check that. Yeah, because we broke the 1-to-1 ratio, so that was the first target. So obviously we found a reversal here yet, but the second target would be 26K. That's the 1.618 Fibonacci extensions of that move, yeah, of the wave W. So that is an absolute perfect length for the wave Z. So we need to be aware that, the Z wave is a 3-wave move. So what could happen very easily is just here an A, a B, and a C. And I don't find that very unlikely. The reason for that is that what is currently coming down here looks very corrective. It does not look like an impulsive wave pattern. Yeah, so that would make the beginning of an impulsive move down, in my opinion, quite unlikely. I mean, you can count all of this maybe as a leading diagonal in a wave 1. Then we would still see a wave 2 to the upside, a 3 down, a 4 up, and a 5 down. This is how it could unfold. One option. In this scenario, we must not go above the high of the wave Z anymore, so around 24K. In the other scenario, all of this is just an A, B, C pattern, and the impulsive wave to the downside will start here. Now, the problem is that we won't really know which scenario is unfolding until we break below a certain level. And this level, mentioned that to you before, is the $19,500 level, the 88.7% fib level. I think below that level, it will get very unlikely that we are still in an uptrend. And if we cross below that level, I think it will be quite likely that we actually see potentially as a maximum a halving of the Bitcoin price. So let's say from 19,000, it could go down to 10K. It could do. It is though an extreme case, and I don't think we will go down to 10K. If we drop below the previous major swing low here at 17.5K, I think first of all we are going to see the 16.9K level. That is the 78.6% Fibonacci retracement level, a very important level on the Bitcoin chart. And then below that, I would be targeting a range between 14 to 15K should we lose the 16.9K level. And from here, Bitcoin then has another chance to reverse back to the upside. So this is absolutely possible. I'm not really biased towards any of these, not at the moment, because the direction is not very clear. I'm purely telling you what is a little bit more likely in my opinion, and that is at the moment, until we drop below 19,400, or 19,500 is the uptrend. Yeah, so therefore I'm giving you a 60-40 probability for a continuation of the uptrend and that the low is already in. Now 60-40, again, I said that in previous videos, it is not like 90-10, okay? It is still quite likely that we will see another low. So we need to keep, again, both options open at the moment. And we are here in the bullish scenario now. So again, here, the $19,500 level, of course, remains very valid. It means below 19,500, the bearish scenario will get much more into the focus again. Until then, we could focus on higher prices. And I mentioned that before. Now, the bullish scenario assumes we've done a wave 1, a wave 2, and we are now in the third wave. That would end somewhere around 29 to 30K. Let me just double check that. Yeah, no, not necessarily this wave. Yeah, this should finish lower, but the reason why I aim for higher is because if this here within the wave 3 is a wave 1 as indicated, this whole move up, then we must look at the 2.618 extension for the wave 3. So more like the 30K level. Now, if we reach the 30K level, that it is still this scenario here is pretty much not going, it's not going to happen. So therefore this level, it is so important that we finally see a finished impulse emerging here. And Bitcoin is unfortunately quite far behind, for example, Ethereum, with regards to the development of a potential uptrend. Yeah, so currently what's happening here is a 1 up, a 2 down, complete. Yeah, we're in the third wave to the upside. Within the third wave, we of course have subwaves. So here we completed the first wave to the upside. Up here, I told you that we're probably going to see a retracement to the downside. Now, you never know how much that is going down, and it started to look promising here to the upside already, but we were still in the channel. So until you break out of a channel or a pattern like that, always be very careful. We need to be careful in the current market situation anyway. But let's take a look at what we can expect now in terms of the Fibonacci retracements. Now, the 21.6K level would be the next likely level. We've nearly reached that already today. We came down to 21.7. And I mentioned the 21.6K level in the previous video. Now, another level that is very likely to be reached is 20.9K and then 20.7. So this is sort of, if we go below that, I would really like to hold at least here the 20.7K level. That is the 1.618 extension of the wave W. Oh no, the 1-to-1 ratio. So that would be an ideal target for the Y wave. Yeah, this is a corrective move down, as I already said in the pointed out when we looked at the bearish scenario. Therefore, I'm also quite, well, let's say carefully confident that this is only here a wave 2 and we will see the wave 3 to the upside afterwards. But of course, could be wrong here. Yeah, I'm just showing you what I currently see in the market. So at the moment, it's looking like, so this is definitely looking corrective. Yeah, what we're doing here. So makes sense to assume that this is a wave B. Now, you need to understand that the wave B could already be finished. It would be a very short wave B, and that the wave C is coming next to the downside. And again, targets I just gave you for that. However, wave B could also go higher. This is not clear yet. it is for me quite likely that we could reach here the resistance without a problem. I wouldn't be surprised if we reach the resistance area of that channel again, but I would expect one more move down here in a wave C. And the wave C should be a 5-wave move down, and then we could complete the Y wave here as well. Yeah, so it could very well be that for another couple of days we are in this sort of channel, but at some point we just need to break out. So at the moment, for example, to enter a long position, my personal point of view, I would wait for a breakout of the channel as a minimum. Yeah, and then of course, you know, a retest. That would be my strategy, or waiting for a breakout above either wave B here or wave 1. Yeah, this is sort of how I would look at it. But again, I would want each of these levels to be retested. So probably I would rather wait for the wave 1 to be broken here. Yeah, everything else is too risky in my opinion. Yeah, and shorting here I find quite risky as well. Of course, you could short wave C, but bear in mind that at least that's how it's looking like. If you short wave C, you would still be working against the higher level trend, which I believe has shifted to the upside. Yeah, because this is an impulse, this is a correction. This is an impulse and this is a correction. And if you're short in a correction, that's always higher risk than shorting an impulse. Yeah, so again, you know, it is a possibility, but bear in mind you don't need to trade everything that there is. Wait for the really good trade setups. But again, that's entirely up to you. And when we then finally break out, hopefully to the upside, that would be in line with my primary expectation, then we should reach here the the area in the end around 30k. Yeah, and it's just important that we get this finally this third wave complete. But if we break to the downside of the channel, that would be a first very, very bearish warning signal. And then if we drop below 19,500, that is definitely high, not necessarily high risk, but all the alarm bells should be ringing. Okay, and that's my view about Bitcoin here at the moment. Hopefully you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.